one thing before. Darn it. Okay.
Okay. I guess you can't say it, Warren.
Nope.
All right.
Are we ready to start, Madam Clerk?
Yes, Chair, thank you.
Okay. If you all hear background noise of either trombones playing or dogs barking, it's because I have a visiting dog who barks a lot, and I live next to a school, and evidently the band, the junior high band, at least the trumpet and trombone section, is out kind of like in it sounds like they're in the backyard. So forgive me.
Okay.
So let me call the LAFCo meeting of September 15th, 2021 to order. It is now, if we note the time, 2:31 p.m. And obviously we continue to meet via teleconferencing as the board chambers are still closed for meetings. It's closed to the public due to COVID. And at this point, I'd ask the clerk to explain to us and to anybody listening how both written comments and spoken public comments can be made by attendees of this LAFCo meeting. Madam Clerk?
Thank you, Chairman Slocum. For those attending the meeting on the Zoom video conference, we will use the raise hand feature in order to organize any public comments. During the general comment public period, and for each item on the regular agenda, I will ask those members of the public who wish to comment to click the raise hand feature to speak on that agenda item. For those joining by phone, please press *9 to indicate your desire to speak. When you hear your name called, I will prompt you to unmute your microphone and inform you that you may begin speaking. You will have 2 minutes. Please note that members of the public must wait for the prompt in connection with each agenda item before using the raise hand function. For example, you may not raise your hand during item 3 if you would like to speak during item 5. Written comments that were submitted in advance will be read by staff during discussion of the appropriate agenda item. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Excuse me. Could we do the roll call now, please? Of both commissioners and alternates who might be present.
Thank you, Chair. Commissioner Cosgrove?
Here.
Commissioner Draper?
Here.
Commissioner Horsley?
Here.
Commissioner Lohman?
Here.
Commissioner Warbeck?
Here.
Vice Chair O'Neill?
Here.
Chairman Slocum?
Here, thank you.
And alternate members present, we do have Katie Martin, Jim O'Neill, and Diana Reddy. And also staff present, we have Martha Poyatos, Rob Bartoli, Timothy Fox, and Janice Lujan. Thank you.
Very nice. Welcome to all the alternates who have joined us today. We appreciate it. Could we move to item number 2 now, which is, we'll open it up for public comment. And this is for items not on the agenda. Madam Clerk, have we received any written public comment, or are there hands raised out there?
Thank you, Chairman. We did not receive any written comments for item 2. And at the moment, I do not see any hands raised for items not on the agenda.
Very good. Then we'll just close off public comment for items not on the agenda at this point. And Chair moves to item number 3, which is our consent agenda. It looks like there's consent agenda items A, B, C, D, and E.
Move approval of the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Cosgrove?
Aye.
Commissioner Draper?
Yes.
Commissioner Horsley?
Yes.
Commissioner Lohman?
Yes.
Commissioner Warbeck?
Yes.
Vice Chair O'Neill?
Yes.
Chairman Slocum?
Yes,
Thank you, Chair. Your motion passes.
very good. Thank you all. Now we're going to turn our attentions to item number 4, which is a consideration of an amendment to the contract with the consulting firm of Berkson Associates in association with Policy Consulting Associates LLC for the preparation of a municipal service review and sphere of influence update for the city of East Palo Alto Sanitary District, and the West Bay Sanitary District, and to extend the date of the contract from March 31st, 2022 to July 31st, 2022. And I believe Rob will present on this item, or Martha.
Thank you. I'll be presenting. Good afternoon, Chair Slocum and Commissioners. You've received a staff report dated September 8th requesting that the Commission authorize amendment of the term of the consulting contract for the municipal service review for East Palo Alto Sanitary, City of East Palo Alto, West Bay Sanitary District, being prepared with Berkson and Associates, that was approved by the Commission on May 19th. The resolution and the contract stipulated a term of May 19, 2021 through March 31, 2022. Due to a delay in the contract execution and to allow additional time for public review and better alignment with the Commission's meeting schedule, staff's recommending that the contract end date be extended from March 31st, 2022 to July 31st, 2022. In regard to budget impact, as noted in the report, there's no change in the contract amount of the not to exceed amount of $129,475, and these funds have already been remitted by the developers. By way of update, our website's been updated with a page for the municipal service review that will provide updates and information and allow interested parties to receive notification of availability of the draft and final reports. So the recommendation, as noted on the slide before you, is to, by resolution, authorize me to execute an amendment to the contract as stated in the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pilatus. Do we have any public comment on this item, item number 4, Madam Clerk, either written or hands raised?
Thank you, Chairman. We did not receive any written communication for this item. And I do see one hand raised, so I will ask Janice to share her timer so that I may call on Mr. Oh, the hand was lowered. The hand was removed, so I believe Atkins does. Oh, I'm going to give Mr. Atkins permission to speak.
Okay.
Mr. Atkins?
Yeah, good afternoon, honorable commissioners. I just want to commend your effort. I've been receiving emails requests from the consultant, and then we'll be working in a very cooperative manner with the consultant to make sure that the process is smooth. I just want to commend the board for taking this on. I think it's going to be a good thing. We're all going to learn from this process, and then we're going to work in a cooperative manner to ensure that the process is conclusive in a timely manner. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Atkins. And Chairman, we do not have any more hands raised for this item.
Very good. Thank you, Madam Clerk. We'll now close public comment for item number 4. And I'll call on commissioners for questions or comments or a motion if that's in order. We'll start with Commissioner Cosgrove and go down the list.
No questions from Commissioner Cosgrove. Thank you.
Commissioner Draper,
No questions. Thank you.
Mr. Horsley.
I don't have any questions either.
Are there any questions from Lohman, Rarbach, or O'Neill?
Nope.
Oh, no.
Okay. Very good. I don't have any questions or comments either. So we'll close the questioning period and take a motion.
I move that we approve the extension of the consultant's contract from March 31st, 2022 to July 31st, 2022.
Second.
Commissioner Cosgrove,
Aye.
Commissioner Draper,
Yes.
Commissioner Horsley,
Aye.
Commissioner Lohman,
Yes.
Commissioner Warbeck,
Yes.
Vice Chair O'Neill,
Yes.
Chairman Slocum.
Yes.
Thank you, Chair. Your motion passes.
Very good. Thank you, everybody. Moving our attention to item number 6 on the agenda, which is
I'm sorry, Chair. I believe it is item number 5.
number 5. I'm sorry, I must have flipped a Page
No
or
worries.
two.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Item 5, you're absolutely right. It's the year-end quarterly LAFCO budget update. This is an informational only item, and the LAFCO staff will present this item.
Thank you, Chair Slocum and Commissioners. You received a staff report dated September 8th, and the staff report provides a year-end and a quarterly financial update for the LAFCO budget, highlighting how LAFCO has performed in the previous fiscal year and the quarter in this current fiscal year as compared to our adopted budget. And we can discuss any issues as appropriate or any questions that the Commission may have. So this practice was recommended during the previous audit as an additional safeguard to ensure sound financial management. And then this is also in accordance with our LAFCO adopted fiscal policy and procedures. So review these quarterly, the final adopted budgets and the quarterly updates. So for our end of year report for fiscal year 2021, overall, the LAFCO revenues totaled slightly over $1 million, exceeding its revenue of $728,804 that was budgeted. And this increase was due to variances in 2 areas, and that was charges for services and intergovernmental revenue. And so the charges for services, that relates to the developer funded MSR, which accounted for $129,000. So that was a budgeted increase that we did not have. And again, that was payment for that MSR for the East Palo Alto Sanitary District, the City of East Palo Alto, and West Bay Sanitary District. The other area was for the 1/3 member payments. And this was shown as intergovernmental revenue. And it's the apportionment for the payments of the cities and independent special district and the county, which was completely received 100% in this fiscal year. As part of the adoption for the fiscal year 21-22 budget, LAFCO had highlighted an issue with delay of billing of member agencies, which resulted in a negative cash balance in previous years. And so to address that issue, the controller invoiced funding agencies prior to the end of fiscal year 2021. And those payments that we received, that the controller's office received, were then deposited in fiscal year 2021, even though those are part of the 21-22 budget. So we did receive basically an overpayment for the 1/3 apportionment within that fiscal year. So that money approximately totals $147,000, and that was then included into the 2021 fund balance and then rolled over into the 21-22. So there was no issue with utilizing those funds and to pay any kind of budgeted expenditures that we have for fiscal year 21-22. And going forward, LAFCO staff can work with the controller's office to assure the correct timing of the invoicing and posting of that revenue. Regarding expenditures, budget expenditures about 90% of what was budgeted, and this variance resulted in savings due to virtual meetings, not having to tape the meetings and using Zoom instead, and for reduce in IT and telephone charges, and a reduction in county council expenses compared to what was budgeted. For fiscal year 21-22, we're early in the budget year, but LAFCO has received 93% of all of the 1/3 apportionment. There are 3 member agencies that still have outstanding invoices, and we're working with the controller's office to correct that issue. And then, as noted, that $147,000 that was allocated as the 1/3 member agencies that was paid and posted in the previous fiscal year has been rolled over into 21-22 to make sure that our balanced budgets and we can pay our proposed expenditures. And right now, we are on target for our budgeted expenditures for this current fiscal year. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Rob, for that wonderful presentation. Very thorough, very articulate. It's appreciated. Just wanted to note that it's unusual to get a reduction in charges from the county counsel's office. So Mr. Fox, Mr. Byers, we thank you, and Rob, thank you for your work on all the budget. Madam Clerk, do we have any public comments, either written or verbal, for this item, item 5?
Thank you, Chairman. We did not receive any written comments for item 5. And I do not have any hands raised. And I would like to note that pretty much everyone under our attendee list now is either an alternate or staff member of one of our commissioners. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to call on commissioners for comments or questions or a motion if that's in order. And we'll just go down the list, starting with Commissioner Cosgrove in order.
No questions. Thank you.
Commissioner Draper.
No questions or comments.
Thank you. Commissioner Horsley.
This is an information item only, and I don't have any questions.
Very good. Mr. Lohman.
Looks good. No questions.
Council Member Rohrbach.
No questions.
Vice Chair O'Neill.
No questions.
And I have no questions. I think we can move, since this is information, I don't believe we need a motion, so we'll move to item 6. Is that correct, Madam Clerk?
That is correct, Chairman.
Thank you. Item 6, as I mentioned, was a Legislative and Policy Committee update. It's informational only. And I believe LAFCO staff will update us on this item.
Thank you, Chair Slocum. So you have a staff report dated September 8th regarding our legislative report. And so on September 10th, the legislative session ended, and LAFCO at the time was tracking 33 bills, many of which have passed the legislature and are now pending before the governor for his review. So the governor has till October 10th to either sign or veto these bills. So we will probably have an update about the final action on these bills at our November meeting. Just a couple of bills to highlight that we've talked about before, but SB 403 would authorize the State Water Resources Control Board to order consolidations of water systems or districts that serve disadvantaged communities, ones that either constantly fail to provide adequate water or safe water to their customers. LAFCO, as part of this bill, has put it out originally as a pose and then a watch, and they had asked for amendments regarding coordination with the Groundwater Sustainability Agency, which is a state-wide mandate, limiting the number of connections that are added as part of the consolidation, and then clarifying LAFCO's role during that potential consolidation. And so that bill was approved by the legislature and again is pending the governor's review. Another bill is AB 959, which would authorize open space districts, including Mid-Peninsula Regional Open Space, to use public nuisance ordinances to abate nuisances on their property. And again, that bill has been approved by the legislature and is pending the governor's review. And just one more bill to highlight, because it's been on everyone's minds lately with meetings and hybrid type meetings. But AB 361 would allow local agencies to use teleconferencing or Zoom or the types of remote meetings without complying with specific Brown Act restrictions in certain states of emergencies, including situations when it's unsafe for members of the legislative body to meet in person, such as a pandemic. So that has if that bill passes, there is a sunset date on that. It would go to January 1, 2024. But if it does pass, it is an urgency ordinance, meaning that it would come into effect immediately when it was signed. So the idea would be, I believe, at the end of the month when the governor's orders finally would end, that if this bill passes, there would not be any break between agencies being able to use Zoom or teleconferencing to continue their meetings. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Rob, for the presentation. I don't think we have any public comment, as the clerk just indicated. So turning to commissioners, are there questions or comments on this item?
Nope.
I have a question.
Yes.
I believe I read that one of the bills talks about, I'll get this term wrong, but climate resiliency groups or boards or something, and that LAFCo is one of the agencies that is viewed as being able to participate in this type of endeavor. Can you give me a little bit more information on that? Or did I so blow it that I didn't get the number? I'm sorry.
No, you were absolutely correct. It's actually Assemblymember Mullins' bill that I'm looking at up the text here.
897.
Yeah.
897.
And so what that would allow, and that was actually a recommendation from LAFCo. They're now in support of that bill because the bill originally did not include LAFCo agencies as being part of this climate resiliency group that now has been amended.
Is it a statewide group?
It is going to be, it's regional based. I believe it's somewhat based around kind of like Caltrans structures for agencies, and then potentially at a more local level. It's structured from OPR, the Office of Planning and Research of the state. So they are kind of building the groundwork for it. They haven't really created these working groups just yet, but the idea would then be to involve special districts, to involve local agencies, the counties, state agencies, also including LAFCo, and when they're looking at these climate resiliency plans or any kind of larger plans that they're looking at related to any kind of climate issues that they're at the time, but also to have then LAFCo be part of that conversation. And I believe it's also tied to grant funding. So those agencies, depending on what those projects may come out of the plan, there'll be grant funding allocated to them. LAFCo would also be a potential recipient of those grant funds. Again, a little bit unclear about what that would look like because they're really just creating these working groups right now.
Well, just as a note, should that bill come to pass and it includes commissioners as the potential participants, I'd be interested in knowing more about it.
Yeah, certainly. And I think when they get to that, I think the makeup of what that will look like, whether it's a mix of staff or elected or commissioners, I think we will give you an update about the status of that.
Thank you.
I have a question on I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut somebody off. I don't know.
No,
is there
go
somebody
ahead.
else talking?
No.
Oh, okay. On the newsletter, you mentioned there was some class on September 1st for forming a CSD. What's a CSD?
That's actually the next item that I'll be discussing, but that's a community services district.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you.
Other questions on this matter, item 6?
And I should just make mention, because I was able to finally find it, but the Assembly bill that Commissioner Draper was referencing, the current status of that is that it did fail this year, but it will become a 2-year bill. So there's potential for it to come back next year.
Very good, thank you. We'll move now to item number 7 on our agenda, which is the LAFCo quarterly August 2021 newsletter. And this is an informational only item, and the LAFCo staff will present this item.
And I really am ready to move on to the LAFCo correspondence. I have nothing to add to the newsletter.
Okay, so we'll take up item 7B. Is that the idea?
Sure, thank you.
Okay.
So item 7B is the September 7th LAFCo correspondence announcing cancellation of the annual conference that was scheduled to take place October 6th to 8th in Newport Beach. And as noted in the memo, the decision to cancel was based on extremely low registration and reluctance to meet in person expressed by LAFCo members. The LAFCo plans to hold the 2022 annual conference at the same venue on October 19th to the 21st in 2022. Some of the conference events will still be held virtually. Those include on Thursday, October 7th is the LAFCo Board of Directors elections, and that's at 8 a.m. Then at 9 a.m., there's the annual business meeting and achievement awards. And on Friday, October 8th at 11 a.m. is the LAFCo Board of Directors meetings, and you'll get emails notifying you of those events. There's also the LAFCo, the Coastal Region Roundtable will be December 15th from 3 to 4:30. And again, you'll get invitations to participate in those. In regard to the request that in the memo that the commission appoint a voting delegate and alternates, we learned after the staff report went out that due to a delay in remitting San Mateo LAFCo's LAFCo membership dues, the LAFCo bylaws disqualify us from voting in the upcoming election. So that negates the need for a voting delegate. I'd also like to speak a little bit about the webinars that are available on the LAFCo members only website. There's a very good 4-part series on preparing municipal service reviews for fire and emergency service agencies. There's also one on formation of a community services district. And then one that I think would be of interest to most is the financial indicators for cities and special districts. So separately, I'll send the commission an email that explains your log on and how to participate or how to watch those webinars if you'd like to do so. And that concludes my report.
Good report. Thank you. That takes care of item 7A and 7B. Any other comments besides Commissioner O'Neill's question? No. Okay, then we'll move on to item number 8, which is announcements. Is that right?
Yes.
Are there any commissioners who have information to share?
I have none.
I have none.
None. None.
Very good.
None.
Wait, Commissioner Horsley say none?
None.
All right, thank you all.
Okay.
And we'll move to item number 9 now, which is our adjournment. It looks like by the clock on the wall, it's 2:58 p.m. And our next meeting, regular meeting, is scheduled for November 17th, 2021. And thank you all for coming. Thanks to the alternates. Thank you to our one speaker. Everybody have a safe and enjoyable afternoon.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Care. Stay safe.